Hello everyone and welcome to another New World State of the Game. It's been a while since I dove into the numbers and really broke it down how the game is performing. And we have so much more to talk about now today because we are a couple weeks into Season 1, Fellowship and Fire. So these numbers themselves, we're going to dive into Steam charts. We're going to break it down based off of industry standard calculations. We're also going to talk about streamer charts as well, because I think these two kind of go hand in hand. But if you guys are new to the channel, if you're new to State of the Game, I'll try to be putting these out like at least once a quarter because there's so much to talk about. There's so much data to analyze. And I really do hope you enjoy these videos. If you feel like they earn them, like, sub, share, comment below. Let me know your thoughts because we've got quite a year ahead of us here as we build to the first expansion for New World. Now, first and foremost, let's take a snapshot at where we are at the time of this recording. New World is ranking 71 on Steam. It's obviously ranked much higher, but if we look at the last 30 days, we can see a peak concurrent of 28,227, and out of the hours played, over 11 million, approaching 12 million hours played. Why is this important, and what do we mean by industry standards? Well, if we look at the low end from the peak concurrent, that would roughly put us at just under 200,000 monthly active users. If you guys aren't aware, the standard calculation is a 7 to 11 multiplier based off of concurrency, as we're especially talking about a global game, a game that is all around the world in this case. But I think, and I like to try and break it down a little bit further. If we look at the high end, which is the 11 multiplier based off the peak concurrent, we're looking at 310,000 monthly active players. But I think we could do a little bit better. If we look at the low end based off of the current concurrent, like the average in this case, you're looking at 110,691 monthly active users. This is giving us a decent range of 110,000 to 310. But that's why I like to always look at the hours as well. Hours played based off of the average playtime. Now, industry standard has the average player play around 7.3 to 8.4 hours per week of a video game. I think MMO players were better, we're cooler, we do it longer, and so I always round that up to 12 hours on average per player, which roughly boils down to 48 hours per month. Now, obviously, some of you guys are awesome and you're grinders and you're going to put more time in. Some people out there are going to put less time in. Again, that's why we're looking at the average. You take this 48 divided by into the 11 million, and you're going to get roughly 242,000 monthly active users. I think this is obviously falls right within our range, right within that time. Time ends up, I think, being the better estimate in terms of monthly active users because those are who are actually logged in and playing, as opposed to any kind of current snapshot. So roughly speaking, I would say easily I would put money down that we're looking at least 200,000 monthly active users for the spring. And I think that's important. Now, this next part is pure speculation. I took the lowest number, in this case, the 110 monthly active users, assuming that they all decided to purchase the battle pass at the $20, not the $30 pass, but the $20, and then accounting for Steam's 30% cut, that would roughly mean that New World brought in a little over $1.5 million just based off of those users alone. Again, that part is pure speculation. We'll probably never see into the insides of that baseball at this point in time. But it's now fun because now we can start to look at a quarterly revenue average in this case. So we'll see how that plays out, especially as we go into the summer. How's our trend looking? Is the game growing? Is it quote unquote dying? Well, I don't think that New World's dying anytime soon, especially with the expansion, but we can clearly see after the Brimstone Sands update and fresh start servers, the game's population has continued to drop. I will maintain the biggest quote-unquote feature or quality life will be once the server architecture is in place for cross-world servers, because you won't then have these dying worlds because players will be able to find and do content. And I'm going to keep encouraging that. My biggest bummer, my biggest frustration going into the expansion is we know more of the cross-server stuff isn't scheduled until the winter. We're going to see its first iteration this summer, and then we're going to see it in the winter. It's a bummer that that's not making it in time for the expansion, because I think that will actually be such a great feature, because then it doesn't matter what server technically you're on. You can still jump in with your friends wherever. I think ultimately if they were able to give you the ability to guest on a server, And then that way you can, here's my home server, but I want to go play with these people on this content. That will be a big feature. We'll have to keep you guys up to date. But anyway, our trend last 30 days with season 1, we're seeing right now at a 5.71 growth. We'll see what that ends up shaking out as. That growth in and of itself, any kind of growth is good. And when it looks at it, you see obviously the bigger drops from each month prior. Obviously, you see the massive lack of content. Content will bring people back. Content will put the numbers in green, and that's what we actually see. But also hype will. August had the growth of hype as they announced Brimstone, as people were like, well, you know what? I will give it a check out again. September, October, and November seeing the biggest spike with the fresh start servers and stuff like that. Now, how does it compare to this time last year? Well, April was the big April spring update that kicked in right before the July update. Now, July's update ended up running towards the end. That's why you actually see the majority of the growth happening in August of 2022. But in terms of July 2022, that's basically when the next content drop actually kind of fell in place. And you see that within April, you saw a 3.36 growth spike, but the base average users were much higher at that time. So I think overall, like right now, season 1, pretty well received. Obviously, I think I've seen some people talk about how some of the people who got hit by that like gear bug that like died and logged out, before the update ended up having that issue, which at the end of the day, like guys, this is New World. Let's be honest. Every update is going to come with an unfortunate, little gotcha bug, which as soon as they can get past that issue, just whatever that ends up being, and we have just like, hey, smooth update, no problems. I think there'll be a lot of excitement rolling in with that. But what we do expect to see is that eventually within the update, we know the next update is set for July 6th, which I do believe means that July 2023 will actually be in the green overall, as opposed to like July 2022 being in the red. August is when we'll probably start seeing more marketing for the expansion. And so I do predict that we'll see greens at least all the way through up to the expansion content played, and then kind of everything kind of settling back down. What's going to be really cool as we get into 2023 is to be able to start contrasting more to where we were in the previous years. And right now, when we look at our average per player for the last 30 days compared to April last time, we are obviously seeing a big drop of around 5,000, 6,000 players. And that in and of itself, I don't think is to be too worried or concerned about. What I am going to be interested in seeing is that if we fall below the floor, which essentially is at 13.2 of July 2022, if the number goes below that, that's where the question ends up being like, well, why is that happening? And we'll have to explore that, and we will here in future videos if that ends up being the case. But right now, numbers are at least trending up. I do expect that the next month and the next month, as we wait into season 2, will be interesting to see how the retention of season 1 plays. So maybe we'll revisit this a little bit sooner than just once a quarter. It really just depends on what you guys are looking for in this regards. So lots to talk about, lots to be excited about. And I think, and I'm going to make one kind of plea, it's like one of the things that does hold people over in games much longer is PvP. And I would love to see some kind of seasonal or every other couple of weeks kind of PvP event. And I think that will be something that would be really cool to see. Right now, Rabbit's Revenge is going on at the time of this recording. We know we have other events that are rolling out over the course of the season itself. And I think that will be something great to see personally. Some kind of every couple of weeks, rotation of a PvP event that can help, bring people back, keep people going, etc. But let's talk about the streaming side of things now, because this is going to be really critical overall, because this in and of itself is marketing. When we talk about like a unique advantage that New World has, is it has Twitch. It has Twitch drops, and this is going to be something that puts the game in front of people and reminds them that it's still out there and going strong. And it does so without having to spend so much money. The marketing money will come pre-expansion. Again, going back into the expansion hype, once you start seeing ads, you'll start to remember the good times. You might forget some of the bad times or some of the bugs, and you might reinstall. Like that's how it functions. But what's interesting is we're already starting to see Kick show up. So we're starting to see some streamers over there playing on Kick. I don't know how that is good or bad, or I don't care, honestly. It doesn't really affect me yet. But in this case, we're going to focus more on Twitch numbers. We can see the hours watched increasing by 222%, peak viewers increasing by 264%, average viewers increasing by 219%, peak channels 84% increase, average channels 29% increase, Viewers per channel, 96% increase, and unique channels at 76% increase over the last 30 days. Now, if you look at the viewers percentage breakdown over the course of the last year, 90 days, 30 days, and yesterday, you can see the average viewers are back on the climb for the last 30 days, and the 90 days going from just under 3,000 to just under 5,000 to just a little bit over 5,000 average viewers in this case. And then peak viewers still has yet to kind of like the peak viewers on 30 days, pretty large. And then going into kind of this more rolling average of just under 9,000. So we'll have to see how that number shakes out in the future. Going over the channel statistics, you can see here right now, average of 130 average channels for yesterday. 30 days, 110, 90 days, 105. So some streamers, some content creators are making that return. And if they're getting the kind of engagement that they need to sustain their content creation, then you'll continue to see that grow. And so there's kind of a double-edged sword in that regards. Now, beyond the last 30 days, if we look out a little bit further, you can see here the biggest drop-off happening in December 2022, January, February, and then March having the least amount of fall-off when it all comes down to it. November having the biggest amount of growth going into now. So we'll see that April ends up being a pretty big month with the Twitch drops and that Twitch campaign in full force. And how this looks out like a graph, obviously kicking up early in April, having an initial kind of decline in that drop, and you'll continue to kind of see these little different waves perform over time. Now, when we look at our top 20 streamers within the New World category, I will call out that Work to Game, which is the Twitch channel that me and my friend Chris run, which you guys, thank you so much for hitting that follow button over there. Hopefully you've been enjoying the content. We talk about MMORPGs and we compare and contrast them. As apparently we really always like upsetting people. Like, no offense to the MMO communities out there, but we are kind of tribal at the end of the day. Like, it is what it is. But in terms of the numbers, like in terms of this top 20, I don't know why Work to Game isn't in the top 20, because we've been ranked at number 17 based off of our New World streaming hours. So I don't know how this is truly calculated. But you can also see that embeds clearly help and continue to crush, and we can continue to talk about that. It is not illegal. It is not wrong for anybody to use them. And I get frustrated when people shame that aspect because they don't truly understand how to do content creation in 2023 now. But it is what it is. Streamer House taking the number 1. Ramses, way to go, dude. Number 2. Tricky at number 3. Danny TV at 4. Redbird 5. BDLG 6. Redbird and BDLG as part of a stream studio loot team. Danny used to be a part of that. Hey, I think he has stepped away from that. Baggins TV at number 7. The Whelps at number 8. Benedict G at number 9. Ya Boy Willie at 10. Zach Rar, Asmongold's other channel, at number 11. Arshdi TV at 12. Callaway at 13. Black Swan at 14. Ufiner at 15. Paljaowa at 16, Lemoni TV at 17, Deadshot at 18, Chess Coach at 19, and Moist Pickle at number 20. So congrats to the streamers out there, and congrats to you guys for making it all the way through the state of the game. I plan on releasing obviously some more New World content. That's what you can get here from me. But this is a fun breakdown of the numbers, and hopefully you guys got something great from this video. If you have any questions about how all these numbers are calculated, you can always sound off below. I'd love to try and make sure I clarify that, get you guys the best information possible here on the YouTubes. And I'm just going to wish you guys all the very best. If you do feel like these videos aren't hitting that like button is the best way to help. Leaving a comment the next best way, and sharing it means that you're just a freaking legend each and every way. So that means Reddit and all that good stuff. So I don't try to promote myself too much, ideally, but there's still always going to be a level of that. And for those of you who do share my content out with the world, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, because it really does mean the world to me. Anyway, I got to get back to stuff and family and life, and I wish you guys all the very best. Hopefully I will see you in my next video, but until then, take care.